That's such a good question. What shape am I currently in life? I don't know, like a curly fry. I think I'm a curly fry because like it's like different, you know? What's up, you guys? It's Sheridan here, back with another video. Y'all know how like back in the day there was that commercial that was like, you're sitting at home watching TV on the couch and your life is passing you by.
You're sitting on the couch, you're watching TV, and your life is passing you by.
I literally would like sit and watch that video at like age 10 and I would be like, oh my god, like I am sitting at home on the couch watching TV. I need to do better and figure out something else. I'm very much getting that type of vibes from this video, but hopefully it's not that type of vibe. I'm hoping that it can inspire. You're going to have to relearn how to define success for yourself. Other people are going to define success for you, but it's up to you to kind of make that decision on your own.
Why are you making it complicated? It's easy.
We're all domestic animals. Yes, you're a domestic animal, even me. We were all born that way. Some of us were born as poodles, the best of the best, to be trained and be like a trophy animal. Some of us were born as pit bulls, where just the pure fact of the way you look like, you are now predestined and stereotyped and categorized in a specific category. Me personally, I consider myself a husky. You know, my goal is to become a wolf, but I'm not quite there yet. Sometimes I like to venture off on the beaten path, and you know, I'll howl at the moon every once in a while. But I'm still very much a domesticated animal. I still get pressure from society to act, talk, look a certain way. We're trained at a young age to believe certain things, to know right and wrong, but we're seeing the versions of right and wrong from the generations before us. And honestly, from whatever ethnical background that you come from, though that automatically categorizes you into certain rights and wrongs and belief systems that are just what you're supposed to believe in. But it's honestly a spectrum. Who's to say what is right and what is wrong and why? You know, who is that deciding factor for you? And I'll never forget this. So I took a cooking class not that long ago, and the guy who was instructing the cooking class, you guys, he was amazing. Like, he brought up this such an interesting fact that literally like had me shook. Like, he said this and it like opened so many other like questions up for me, and it just literally opened my eyes to a new way of thinking and going about like certain situations and just life in general. And it just as simple as washing chicken. So this chick like raises her hand and she says that her roommate washes her chicken, and she thought that was the weirdest thing ever. And in my opinion, like, that is normal. Like, obviously, duh, like, you're supposed to wash your chicken is dirty. And he was like, okay, I'm happy you brought up this question. This may be a little bit too political, but if you wash your chicken, raise your hand. And of course, everyone black, who was the 2 out of the 20 people in this cooking class, raises their hand, me being one of them, saying, yes, I wash my chicken. And his response was, not everyone has the privilege to not wash their chicken. These are certain things that are passed down through generations, because this is how society was back then. This was the standards of back then and what was right and what was wrong. If you were a person of color back then, you probably weren't giving the best quality of chicken. You probably weren't giving the most organic, pasture-raised chicken.
You'll never get the chance to treat me like I'm a piece of shit again.
And so it was your responsibility to make sure that you washed and cleaned the chicken. And because of that, these traditions have been passed down, and we may not necessarily know why we do these certain things, but this is how we now do it. Of course, the things that you learn from your family and your parents growing up, these are all things that are going to help you get through life, but they're not the end all be all. These are just certain things, blueprints that you go based on, but it's up to you to make that decision to start creating your own path, to add your own colors and coloring and structures and how you want to design it. The frame of the house is not going to change, but it's up to you to add those extra elements to make things your own. We're all a product of our own environment. I say this, I don't know how many times I say this, because it's true. But it's up to us to learn how to separate ourselves from that environment. Yes, you're always going to remember how your mom cooked a certain dish because, you know, that is a part of who you are in your culture. But it's up to you to take those important elements that you learn as a kid, as a child, growing up, that your parents have taught you, and now figure out new ways to define what is right and what is wrong for you and what makes sense for you in the generation and time period that we are all in at this current moment. Get off of the linear path. Society, specifically Western society standards, definitely puts us in a category on what success looks like. Whether that's having money, whether that's having an amazing career where you're like SVP, chief, whatever of your company, and your kids, if you're married, you know, what your spouse is doing, how they look, their appearance. These all add into the aspect of a linear path, and whether you meet a certain goal at a certain part of your age defines what is success and what is not successful. If you are a 30-year-old woman who is not married, who do not have kids, and you know, live in a decent sized house and have a retirement fund, then you're failing, is what society, Western standards would say. One of the good things that I love about Gen Z is that they're really making the mold for themselves. They're really redefining what success is and what that means to them. They are prioritizing themselves and figuring out what their needs are at that moment. And that's something that you should do too. Life isn't white or black anymore. It's not like we need a pension in order to be successful in your retirement. You don't have to stay at a job 10 plus years in order to climb way up and make a life for yourself in that way. We're allowed to skip around. We're allowed to add different elements and colors within our lives that make us happy. And in that, we prioritize ourselves. We learn what our worth is. We learn that we should be making more money, and maybe this company cannot give that to us. So hey, it's time to venture off, go to a new company, and find someone who's going to prioritize me as well. There's so many opportunities now to where you can create your own business and figure out things that genuinely make you happy. But through all that as well, you learn that maybe not all of us need to be at that top level. Maybe success to you is, you know, having a hobby, getting better at your craft, figuring out your mental health and prioritizing that and prioritizing your free time.
Now watch this. I am sorry, but this is exciting. Look at this color. Oh!
Maybe that is success to you. But sometimes it can get foggy and it's hard to figure out, like, how do you know that you are being successful? How do you know that you are on the correct path or the right path, or that, you know, this makes sense to go down this road? We're quickly learning that Western standards are no longer a guideline to what life means. Something that I loved when I went to Berlin is that it felt like anything was just like possible there. Like everyone was just kind of going at their own pace, you know, they're doing their own thing, and it just all kind of worked for them, you know. I look back at like the people that I met there and the people I follow on Instagram now, and like some of the major questions I want to know, I'm like, well, how much do they make? How are they supporting themselves? I just see them doing like activities, but it doesn't look like work activities. And those are the questions that you ask. And like, why do I see success in this way? Why do I think that you need to make a certain amount of money, or you have to have a certain career path in order to be considered as successful? And that's just not the case anymore. I remember my roommate was saying like, oh, like, you got your shit together, you're doing good, you're being so successful. And like, that's how she viewed me through her eyes. But through my eyes, the way I viewed her just as successful. She has her own things, and she works towards her own goals, and she's making things happen for herself. And we have to understand that our paths look totally different, and that's okay. And that's the great thing about getting off a linear path, is that it's not a straight line anymore. It's up to you to choose and create your own shape and what your path looks like. So think of it like the dog situation. Like, what type of dog are you? What type of shape would your path of success look like? Mine, I don't know, mine might be a star, or it might be a heart, or it might be a rhombus, or a pentagon, or whatever. I don't even know what some of these shapes look like. But it's up to you to design and figure out what your shape would be for your success level. You have to let the angel numbers validate your experiences. Now, I know not all of us are super religious and super spiritual. If y'all watch my videos, you know that I am, and I'm on this transition journey. And honestly, life is really about the transitions. Like, I say this all the time, but I'm starting to learn to view life through transition periods. It's not one just long line, like I said before. I'm starting to see it as different segments and different chapters. Like, you literally are in different chapters of your book. And how do you know if you're going on the right path? If it feels right, if you feel it in your bones that this is something you're supposed to be doing, it's going to feel like you are going in the right direction. At least I think so. I'm still very much on this path and journey, but this is how it's feeling for me now. And I feel like I am going in the right direction because I'm getting these validating symbols and signs from God, from the universe. I personally have been seeing 444, 1111 every single day, and 608. 608 they're like my birthday numbers, and I would see these numbers all the time before I got the job that I have now. Currently now, I've been seeing a lot of 444 and 608 and 1111, which makes me feel like that something else is coming up, and it's honestly validating my vision that I have, the things that I've been manifesting, the content and creativity that I've been processing and doing and achieving. It's validating things, and it's helping me realize that, hey, you're doing what you're supposed to do right now. You're doing it correctly. Keep going, and we're gonna give you the strength and ambition and the mind frame and mindset to keep doing this. So maybe you see these numbers. I had a coworker who would see giraffes. I wore a giraffe sweater, and then she saw me and started freaking out because she was like, this is my sign. This is the sign that I gave to the universe to validate that I am moving in the right direction. And I was so happy that I could be a part of that for her. And it's even like Long Island Medium. Listen, I don't know what it is about that show, but Teresa be getting me. And she talks about it all the time, how your past loved ones will send you signs and different things to let them know that they are there with you, that is their way of validating your feelings and knowing that, hey, we are here. I think of it as the same concept, that these are little signs that are helping to guide you, to let you know that this is the way you should be defining success, and this is what success looks like for you, and you should keep going on that journey and that path. And the more you believe your own truth, the more these signs will come and show you. And the more you'll just feel better about it, honestly. You'll feel pretty good, and you'll know like, hey, things are going right, and you'll be happier and more content about how you go about things. You know, things won't seem as a chore or a task that you're doing. It's gonna feel good to know that, hey, you're doing this, you may be doing it on your own, you're achieving it, and you're getting signs showing that you are achieving and doing well as well. Apply pressure, but not too much pressure. And yes, I did get this from J. Cole because I just watched the documentary, The Off Season, and it kind of made me feel some type of way, not even gonna lie. So I watched this literally the day after I spoke to my best friend. And when I spoke to my best friend, I was saying that I was very content with where I was in life. I was very happy at the moment where I am. And then I watched this documentary, and I kind of was mad at myself because I was like, why would I ever be content? Why would I ever be happy about being content? That means I'm being stagnant. That means I'm not moving forward, blah, blah, blah. Which, as I've been thinking about it more now, is not the case at all. Yes, you want to apply pressure. Yes, you don't want to ever be in a comfortable state for too long. But what's wrong with taking in those moments? Like I said before, we're all in transition periods, different transition periods of our life. And I personally think it's important to, of course, apply pressure, continue to figure out how to better yourself and how to keep challenging yourself. But once you've achieved something, once you're at the peak point of that chapter, I find nothing wrong with taking pride in that, reflecting, sitting in it for a minute, and really enjoying where you are at the moment. Because I feel like if you move too fast through life, you're never gonna really feel like you're achieving anything. You're never really gonna feel like you're reaching a certain point. It's never going to be enough. You're constantly having to do more to get higher. Sorry, my memory was full. Anyway, that I don't remember what I was saying. So we're just gonna end it here and hope for the best. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully it's helpful for you. Comment down below, what stage of dog are you right now? Are you a Pomeranian or a Pit Bull? Comment down below who you are. Like I said, I'm an Alaskan Husky. I'm on the journey to become a wolf, not a domestic animal. Or comment down below, what shape are you currently? Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful for anyone out there, especially if you're moving to New York, considering moving to New York, or if you're just trying to better your life and progress and move forward. Hopefully this gave you a little bit different perspective on how to go about and think about things. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.